Okay, good morning, everyone. Just to introduce myself, my name is Sharmin, and I'm a sports officer at Wits University. I'm the head of cricket and hockey at the university. And we've just decided this morning to have a bit of a chat with some of the senior professional hockey coaches in the Southern Gauteng region. With me this morning, I've got Bryan Hillock, who is the director of hockey at Jeppe Boys. I've got Colin who's the director of hockey at King Edward. I've got Louw, who's a senior provincial player, as well as a former national player and a current first-team hockey coach at Jeppe Boys. He's also the Wits University men's assistant coach. I've got Reddy, who's the director of hockey and first-team coach at Parktown Boys. Kyle is also one of our ladies coaches at Wits University. And I've got Ricky West, who's the senior men's coach at Wits University, the head coach. Ricky also owns a business called the Sports Republic, where he distributes a few brands, one of them being Osaka Hockey. And we're just going to get a few views from them and thoughts about how they've been managing the lockdown. Wesley, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, from an economic point of view, I'm sure it's been a really difficult time for most of the sporting brands that are out there. We were just about to go into a major hockey season. A lot of teams were prepped and ready to go. Can you just maybe share with us, what's been happening from a business point of view with the shop and the various brands that you're associated with? How has this period affected your business, and from an economic point of view, are things still happening online? If you can just share a little bit about what's been going on there, Westy.
Yeah, Sean, thanks for this opportunity. I think the uncertainty is the real tricky bit to try and navigate at the moment. There's not much going on online. I think everyone is just kind of holding on to their cash, as is understandable. And I think that the biggest challenge going forward is going to be is the retailers obviously not having any foot traffic in these 21 days, and possibly if it gets extended as well. And that's really going to be a difficult position for ourselves, and obviously every other retail store out there that's not getting the traffic through, and they still have the obligations to meet from a rental and a salary point of view. And then I think from our point of view, we've really just got to hope that we do get out of this lockdown, and that there is still some hockey to be played, so that the product that we have out there in the market is bought. There's a demand for it because the supply is there. We really got to hope that we do play a little bit of hockey. Otherwise, there's going to be some really interesting times ahead.
Cool, thanks. Thanks for sharing that with us, Westy. I know it must be tough and challenging for you as a business owner. And then Westy, from a Wits Hockey point of view, can you maybe just share with us some of the things that you've been doing to try and stay connected with your players? Obviously there's lots of stuff happening online, but maybe just a short snippet of what you've been trying to achieve over this 21 days with them.
I think the challenge really is to just try and maintain the camaraderie and the culture that we would ordinarily have during training and throughout our season. So that's something that we've tried to ask all the boys to commit to. Do your conditioning sessions. The guys are sending evidence that they're out there doing some sessions. So that's on their own personal fronts, and then as a unit, with the help of Lance and some of the other staff, we're running some video sessions. We've broken down some international games and some of the stuff that we've tried to, or that we started to implement this season, or for the season. We've looked at some teams that do it successfully and try to sort of find ways of us getting a better understanding for it. And then and something that we're sort of introducing now is giving the guys the responsibility to go and present to us. So we picked some games that they need to go and look in groups of 5, and they need to present to the group, and we'll use a similar sort of platform as this, where they'll come to us and say, right, this is what we do well, this is what we don't do well, and these are some things that we maybe as a unit should be doing better. So yeah, I think it's just it's trying to remain relevant and trying to get something out of this period. You know, we definitely can't sit and do nothing while other teams are possibly doing things. We've got to try and make sure that we're adding value to the guys, and we leave this period still conditioned and having a better understanding on some of the concepts we were hoping to achieve.
Cool. It's great to hear that you have still managed to stay connected to the players. I mean, obviously from all around the country. And good luck for the next 12 days with them, Rusty. Hopefully, the rest of your plans sort of fall into place. And obviously good luck with your business after this period. Bryan, I'm going to move to you next, or between you and Lance, being the Jeppe guys with us this morning. Obviously, Bryan's a senior hostel master at Jeppe. He's also a senior teacher on the staff as well as the director of hockey. Bryan, if you can maybe just share with us some of the things that your school and your headmaster or your senior management have put in place to help the staff as well as the boys just cope with this pandemic or this lockdown period.
Yeah, thanks, Shams. Thanks for the opportunity. It's obviously been quite tough the last 10 or so days. We've put quite a few sort of structures in place here. From an academic point of view, we've got a student portal that all the boys and parents have access to, and basically all the communication goes out through that student portal. The strength and conditioning program from a hockey point of view and a rugby point of view is on there, and we've made quite extensive use of Google Classroom. So we've got, obviously, being a school that draws from quite a few different areas and quite a diverse demographic. We've got some boys that obviously don't have access to those online platforms, but we are emailing those notes to those parents. I think we try and as best as we can. We've also obviously got our school psychologists and a school support team for the boys and the parents during this time, and I think that's probably been the biggest thing for me is the care that's been shown by the staff to the boys and the parents and vice versa. I like what Ricky said earlier about just making sure that people stay connected. So I think from my own personal point of view, especially my boarding house, it's just making sure I send the guys a WhatsApp message, passing on information like this, these sorts of online chats to the boys, and just trying to make sure that guys stay connected, because I think that's really, really important. It's been tough, but we are blessed that we've got an online platform like this where we can stay connected, and I think that's really cool.
Cool, yeah, that's interesting to hear. And I know a lot of the schools are trying to push as much content or valuable content as they can online. But I'll come back to you to chat about access a little bit later. And obviously you've got boys coming from different backgrounds. I'm just going to move to you quickly, Lano. Obviously, Jeppe has put a massive effort into the pre-season hockey program. If you could just maybe share with us, from a mental point of view, how has this affected the players? Lano, have you been in constant contact with them? Have you done similar sort of things online with the Jeppe lads? And then how do you sort of see coming back after the lockdown? In the event the president says, okay, you guys can play sport again. How long is it going to take the Jeppe lads to get fit again? And how do you see the sort of program playing out?
So thanks for letting me join the session. For us, we've got a strength and conditioning coach who's obviously given out the program to the whole school. For my team, being the first team, they've been doing their program every day, sending in their content like the Wits guys are doing, making sure that I'm always in contact with them. This week, I'm probably going to have a few video sessions as well, just to keep them tuned with games from last year on a similar platform. Mentally, everyone seems good. They're all in good spaces. They're all with their families. I think most of them are boarders, so they don't get to spend as much time as they do at home. So I think on that sake, it's actually good for them. Coming back into season, I'm hoping that they'll all be quite fit, because they shouldn't be partying and all that, because obviously with their families and stuff. So they should still be relatively fit. Their conditioning program is a 5-day program, basically 3 days of physical work and then 2 days conditioning. So they should be fairly fit. I think we're going to probably look to have a camp coming back into season, or once the lockdown's done. We still having chats around that, but that's one of the plans. And then, yeah, we'll probably do a 3-day camp, play a few schools, play Cares, play Parktown, play Saints if they're willing to, which was supposed to happen yesterday. So yeah.
Good. Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, it's good to see that the boys are still staying connected, and they obviously got home-based conditioning programs that have been designed by your staff. Yeah, it's just really exciting to see how some of the schools have really stepped their game up, from a strength and conditioning point of view, and they've really turned their hockey programs into professional outfits. Colin, I'm going to move across to you. I mean, you're obviously a senior accounting teacher, a senior border master, director of hockey, first team coach, father to a handsome son, husband to a good-looking wife, who's also a teacher at Cares. I'm sure it's been a difficult time for you at King Edward. I don't know if you want to just maybe jump in here and just share with us, what's been happening in the Cares boarding house. I know there are a lot of staff in the boarding house. From a hockey point of view, if you can just share with us, and then obviously from an academic point of view, my wife's also a teacher at Cares, so I kind of have a gist of what's going on. But if you can just maybe just share that with us as well, and give us an idea of how you guys are staying connected.
How's it, Sharmin? Yeah, thanks very much for the invite here. Let's start off with the academic part first. Since Bryan's already touched on that a little bit. At Jeppe, we're pretty much doing the same thing. I think the onus has been on teachers to actually get work together, and that's getting sent out to all the learners. It goes out every second week, so we give a 2-week set of content, and that gets handed out every second week to the learners. And then obviously it's a lot of revision work, because trying to teach new concepts on an online platform, it has its own challenges. As Bryan said, some guys don't have access to computers, some guys don't have access to data. So to actually teach lessons, it's become really tough. So a lot of revision work and kind of leading into the new work that we're going to start doing when we eventually get back, whenever that might be. So very similar to what Jeppe is doing at the moment, getting work out to the boys. In the boarding house, it's actually really quiet. Something you don't get too often in a boarding environment, as you'll know, and I think a lot of the guys studying there have also been involved in boarding. They are really quiet because of self-isolation. That I think we hardly see each other, just in passing, and then have a quick chat, make sure everyone's doing okay, and that. So it's quite an interesting time here. Not much really taking place. On the hockey point, also, I think the real challenge is I'm not sure how the other guys on the group here, how they've done it. Ricky is very fortunate. He's had a group of guys that have been with him for quite a while now, and they've been through the process, and there's a lot of senior guys with the odd junior guy coming through. And Ricky, I'm sure that helps quite a bit. I'd like to hear your input on that a little bit later. Whereas I think the rest of us, we've got a relatively new side that's just been put together. I think a lot of us only had trials that last week, just before we went into lockdown, and we were supposed to be playing fixtures in those coming weeks. So it's really tricky to actually have guys running programs that are based on past, with guys leading the way. So what we're trying to do is keep the conditioning going. The strength and conditioning coach has sent out a program to the guys that was supposed to be their holiday program, so they're continuing with that. And then obviously the odd skill session that we'll post on the on the WhatsApp group. I think one of the big challenges with that is also guys having areas to train. I'm sure not every parent allows boys to play with a stick and ball in the house. I'm not sure guys have the actual facility to play with a stick and ball. So that becomes really challenging as well in that content. Just getting to a area to actually train and do something. I've seen a couple of really good little video clips where guys are doing their own little challenges and things like that, which is really great.
Cool. Thanks, Colin. Yeah, no, it's obviously it's a massive challenge, and again, King Edward, obviously a boys' community or school of boys, where kids come from different sort of communities, different backgrounds. Also, massive boarding house, one of the biggest boarding houses in the country. So, yeah, to assume everyone has the same sort of facilities, same sort of internet connection. Yeah, I can imagine the discussions that are happening at management level. Carlo, I'm going to move to you next. Obviously, Parktown's hockey sort of been on the up over the last 2 to 3 years. I've got two Parktown, ex-first team Parktown players in Ricky West and Louw, coaching our first team at Wits University. And I'm sure they're happy to see the sort of growth of the school as a school, as well as a hockey fraternity and as a part of the hockey community. I managed to sneak in and watch your first home game against, I think it was Northcliffe, where the lads played really well. And I think it's, my opinion from what I saw was that the Parktown first team were looking to have one of their best seasons possibly in the last 5 years even. Obviously this is a massive setback for you as a director of hockey and first team coach, not being able to get out on the pitch and obviously see the results of the last 3 to 4 years of hard work at the school. How has this affected your players, Carl? And maybe just share with us about some of the things that Parktown has been up to over the last sort of 10, 11 days in lockdown.
Sorry, how's it, Charms? Yeah, thanks. It has affected us quite massively because, as you know, everyone was quite looking forward to the season from us. And I think this year we're blessed to have a group of really good players that consists of a lot of senior players as well, a lot of matrics. And I mean, for the player itself, a matric boy losing out on this part of the season, I mean, we're talking about 15 games here. Like with Founders and Cares Fest, those are the things that the lads obviously look out for. But what's been really cool is that our SNC coach has given them a program, obviously working with body weight and things like that. And I've designed a few drills, like nothing too hectic that they can do in a small space or wherever they are, and just sort of keep their hand eye. And the boys have actually taken to this and started challenging each other. So they've made videos to show each other and keep motivated. And we've actually posted these online. So if you go check our Facebook page, then you'd obviously see this. And more and more kids are getting into this. And not only the top guys, but the dudes who just play to have fun, So I mean, that's the one aspect we've taken. But like Jeppe and Kez and Wits, we also monitoring the dudes daily, checking in on them, making sure they're all right. But at this stage, I think a lot of the guys aren't happy because all they really want to do is get out on the turf. I mean, the same like us.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Carlo, for that. Yeah, I have been tracking Parktown boys online. Look, one of the things that we've spoken about as a sports office, we've been meeting regularly on Microsoft Teams and Zoom and all of these platforms between our coaching staff as well as our sort of management staff, administration staff at the university. And one of the things that we've been talking about a lot is that, how do we keep ourselves relevant as a sports department? And social media comes up often, and it's really important that I think we stay as positive as we can on social media, and it's obviously a time where a lot of teachers and parents will tell kids to stay off social media during the week, especially whilst they're in school term. But here's a time that we're facing where we have to use social media to stay connected. Wesley, a really interesting time for you and your family. Obviously, you've got you've just moved house, and you've got a pregnant wife at home that's going to give birth in a couple of months. So you're about to become a father. That obviously poses different challenges for you. Can you maybe just share with us what it's been like having a pregnant wife at home, and during this time, is she safe and well and healthy?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, I think she is under a bit of pressure, not able to work. But personally, I think this is really good for us, because it actually just gives an opportunity for 3 weeks to just relax and let the baby grow and not be under too much pressure. So yeah. I think it's great. It's great having her around all the time and not putting too much pressure on herself. Yeah, it has been a whirlwind of a year already, and we're only in April. We moved house, getting the baby room ready, seeing the little sort of bundle of joy growing. It's it's a good time. I'm personally enjoying it. I'm enjoying spending time at our new house. Got a lot of things to do around the place. So, not focusing too much on the whole lockdown and the ramifications that may lead to from a business point of view, and just trying to take it each day and enjoy it.
Cool. Well, yeah, just obviously from our side as a sports office, we pray that she stays healthy and, she delivers and everything works out. Yeah, just a bit of advice from me. Obviously, I've got a 17-year-old boy and I've got a 11-month-old boy at the same time under the same roof. One's learning how to drive, the other one's learning how to walk. Enjoy your sleep, big guy. Because I can tell you now, you're not going to be. I'm still not sleeping. I don't think I've slept in years. Well, that's definitely what it feels like. Guys, yeah, I'm just going to wrap things up. Thanks very much for joining me on this Sunday morning, second Sunday in lockdown. Yeah, I just want to wish you guys well over the next sort of 11 to 12 days during this lockdown period. Stay safe. Yeah, let's try and stay connected as much as we can. We're at home now, so I mean, we might as well whip out the laptop and have these sort of conversations. But I really appreciate your time, and good luck for the next sort of 11, 12 days. Good luck for your hockey season, whatever sort of hockey season we do get. I'm sure as coaches and your players as well are going to cherish, whatever time they get on the pitch. Wash your hands, stay inside, and be safe.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.